Journalists are not just storytellers. They are the voice of the voiceless, the bridge between the powerful and the powerless, and the torchbearers who shines a light on society's ills. However, as with every other profession, there are always a few outliers who disregard professionalism and ethical standards. And on Media Spotlight today, we take a look at some of those questionable practices among journalists in Abuja. And to help us explore this compelling topic, I am joined by a seasoned professional in the field, Moji Danisa, a media journalist. She is a journalist media consultant, Moji Danisa. Welcome to the show, and thank you for having us.
It's so nice being on your show.
All right.
I'm very glad to be here.
My pleasure.
Especially talking about journalists.
Yes. So, Ma, I don't know if you've heard of this term referred to spoon-feeding reports.
Spoon-feeding reports.
Okay. I guess you've not heard of that term. Okay, let me explain. Now, it's when journalists that have been assigned to a specific beat now get already written reports from the agencies of those beats.
Okay.
So typically what happens is those agencies will write the reports they wish to be published and then distribute it to the journalists that have been assigned to cover them for publication. So essentially, they tell the journalists what to report. And as a veteran, I'm very sure you are familiar with this act.
Yes, as a media consultant, I do it.
So could you share your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's like a two-spoon prong, so to say. Is it good? Is it not good? Should it be done? Should it not be done? You know, there are different reasons for it. For example, as a company, for example, you have something to put out there and you don't want to be misrepresented. So you call a press conference sometimes and you give the reporter the opportunity to ask questions. Yet, in today's world, we see that the reporters might just have a preconceived notion or a preconceived mind view of your organization. And they go out there and write whatever they want to write, which is wrong. A journalist should look at the story from all angles. But these days, I don't know, something is happening. That is one aspect of it. So as a company, you will try to express your own view yourself, the way you want to be perceived. It now rests on the journalist to rework your story, to look at it from his own angle, from the angle of all the stakeholders involved, the angle of the other side, so to say, objectively. But, well, we don't know what happens after we send out those reports. Nobody tells any journalist, write my report verbatim.
Okay.
You understand?
It's not like a direct order?
No, it's not like, but so they go out and do what they like. Sometimes you see 10 stories with the same headlines and it's like embarrassing. You now know this was paid for.
Yes.
You understand? And then again, there is the, what's it called? The journalist, on the part of the journalist, there is what we call swiftness of news now. The news is so swift. The news does not wait because of the internet. So the journalist may just play it safe. Let me first put this out before I do the follow-up report.
Another practice again, known as gatekeeping in news coverage. Now, this is when journalists
have been lectured.
we are learning from each other. So this is when journalists that have been assigned to a beat now meet themselves in that organization or that agency, and now they come together. The bone of contention here is whenever a new journalist is now assigned to that beat, there is something they usually do. They kind of sideline that new reporter, they exclude that reporter, and they treat that reporter like a complete outcast. They don't take that reporter along. it's like for you to get access to information, for you to know your way in that organization, you have to kind of, should I say, clean the feet of the previous journalists you've met there before, for them to finally accept you.
It's like a fraternity or something.
Yes. So I don't know, could there be a reason why they formed this association in the first place?
It's not new to me because I've heard about it. This is something in the early days, the NUJ fought against it. In the early days, the NUJ frowned against the establishment of Sports Writers Association, for example. That was the very first one, I believe.
Happened.
And it was, they even went to court and everything. The next thing, we had the Nigerian Guild of Editors. The next thing, I was invited for one association of entertainment and lifestyle reporters, and I'm like, what? And if it may interest you to know that when they started Abuja, I refused to join, and I'm like, what's all this? We have the NUJ. To me, that should be enough. That should be enough. But then later I began to realize that, for example, the Abuja was covering the interests of women in journalism, which I acted as a man. I became editor so early, so I couldn't understand that there were these inequalities, between the newsroom against women. When it comes to training and all that. I missed a lot without knowing, you understand? It was ignorance at that point. But these other small associations, mushroom associations, there shouldn't be. A journalist is a journalist. You can be sent to any bit. In my time today, you could be in energy. Tomorrow, you are removed from energy. You are sent to agriculture.
Yes.
You have to go around every bit in the newsroom.
So I keep wondering why they form this association in every bit. What do they stand to?
I think it's self-interest. It's to protect their self-interest. And once you start this association thing, you have people who hijack leadership. And once they hijack that leadership, they now make it look like they are special beings. That's why you see when you come in as a journalist is a journalist.
Yes.
There's no small journalist, there's no big journalist. No. The report you cracked today, maybe I wouldn't have been able to crack it in 50 years. Yes. You understand? So I think it's a very, very, very bad precedent. Very bad thing.
Yeah. What do you think the NUG can do to stop this association, to stop these practices that are going on? Because it's really
I don't think it's the NUG per se. I think it's the news department itself. It should start from the news department.
The media houses.
Every media house, yes. You understand? You can, when you toss your reporters around, let them feel everything. Journalists should know a little bit of everything. When you toss them around, they won't have time to be forming
like they say, charity begins at
you can't just keep some people in the house in last such lucrative bits.